Right, the big news coming in. It is that time of the season where Delhi and NCR people have to brace, literally while choking as they breathe. Delhi Air Quality Index has again plummeted. And remember, this is only likely to increase. Because at this point, we are told that the level at which the AQI is crossing 400. Imagine this, when I say this, the Air Quality Index has crossed 400. Despite the promises, despite the assurances that have consistently come, and yet it appears nothing is being done. Amit Bhardwaj sends us this ground report.
Diwali festivities are more than a week away, but the air quality index in the national capital has already breached the very poor category. On Tuesday morning, the situation is such that the central government data suggests that it is already 319 AQI overall in the national capital, and the impact is such that at ITO, where we are standing right now, you can see a haziness in the sky, and the iconic PWD department building at the ITO, that's also somehow covered in a hazy sky. So the clarity is going down as far as the national capital is concerned, and areas such as Anand Vihar, Bawana, IGI Airport, Major Dhyan Chand Stadium, these are areas where the air quality is actually beyond 300 and in some cases even beyond 350. Now, as per the experts, the medical health experts, this kind of situation is not good for outdoor activities, and especially for the elderly and children. The CAQM has imposed grab 2 measures from Tuesday morning, which means that among several other measures, the parking fees in the national capital will be increased from today in order to discourage private transport, as well as the public transport options such as CNG buses, EV buses, their fleets will be increased. So will be the metro services augmented. With video journalist Sagun Bhardwaj, this is Amit Bhardwaj reporting for India Today from Delhi.
I want to now bring in Amit Bhardwaj live. Amit, it's absolutely scary to think that it's going to be about 400. Is it already at that AQI? Tell us what is the information that you have? Because I can only imagine children, senior citizens, those who have respiratory concerns, and it's a festive time. We're all preparing for Diwali, and yet many are wondering if they can even stay back in their home for the festival.
Right, Pooja, breaking it down for our viewers right now, especially for those who live in the Delhi NCR region. Delhi specifically has crossed the 300 mark, which means it is in very poor category. Not recommended for outdoor activities, not good, AQI not considered good for the elderlies and the children, and especially those who are facing, respiratory problems for years now. But in the next 2 days, the picture could actually start looking even more murkier for the national capital region. The reason being that it is expected, due to the climatic conditions and farm fires being reported in the northern states, the AQI could actually touch the 400 mark, which is, moving towards the severe category. Now, that scenario is really scary for the Delhi-walas at least, because in the adjoining areas, once Delhi touches that kind of mark, you will see the impact in Noida, Greater Noida, Ghaziabad, as well as Gurgaon. From today in the morning itself, around 8, the CAQM restrictions have been, grab 2 restrictions have been imposed in Delhi, which means that the parking fees of the vehicles, private vehicles, will be increased. That is being done in order to discourage private transportation. On the other side, the government agencies have been asked to augment the public transport services, such as, including additional fleets of the CNG, EV buses, or increasing the metro services. So the government agencies are working on different
but
things,
again,
but
that's the problem, Amit. And as a Delhi NCR resident, it makes me angry as well, because there are these sideline issues, solutions, temporary solutions that are found out. What happens to stubble burning? How is it on? And even to the farmers, why are the alternatives not being worked out best with? Because eventually people in cities, what is their fault? That they have to live in Delhi NCR and breathe this literally a smog flame, which I can only imagine how it is impacting our lungs in the long run. Thank you very much, Amit. I'll come back to you in a short while, and the updates coming in over the air quality index. Every year, if there is smog, then there is politics as well in the national capital, Delhi. Now, why there is politics is because the Bharatiya Janata Party is slamming Arvind Kejriwal and basically now the Aam Aadmi Party, even though there have been different leadership roles that have been taken. BJP says that Aam Aadmi Party government has air purifiers in the 40 crore bungalow, referring to the civil lines bungalow of Arvind Kejriwal earlier, that there is, at that bungalow there are about air purifiers so that the family is safe. But for the people outside, there's absolutely nothing. Also saying the poor kids are suffering in toxic air, while the Aam Aadmi Party, not that Aam Aadmi really. Let's listen in to what the spokesperson of the BJP has to say.
अरविंद केजरीवाल जी पहले ये कहा करते थे कि अगर पंजाब में उनकी सरकार आ जाएगी तो पंजाब में और दिल्ली में उनकी सरकार होगी तो दिल्ली के अंदर एयर पोल्यूशन नहीं होगा। आज स्थिति ये है कि दिल्ली के अंदर एयर पोल्यूशन वेरी पुअर स्थिति पे पहुंच चुका है और अरविंद केजरीवाल जी इसके लिए जिम्मेदार पंजाब की सरकार को ना करने के बजाय जहां 65% स्टबल बर्निंग होती है उत्तर प्रदेश और हरियाणा को कर रहे हैं। मैं अरविंद केजरीवाल जी को कहना चाहता हूं, चुनाव आएंगे जाएंगे, कम से कम दिल्ली की जनता की सेहत के साथ खिलवाड़ मत करिए।
Right, so with the latest that's coming in this case about what precisely is happening, remember that that the pollution levels are not only becoming a concern, but people would like to also enjoy their festival while there's already smog that has engulfed. Pradeep Bhandari, who's made that comment, is joining me on the phone line. Pradeep, good morning. But why do you think you're making this comparison? जो बंगलो में जो 40 करोड़ आप कह रहे हैं, पहले तो उसका कहीं confirmation है, आपको कोई clarity है कि इतने सारे air purifiers वहाँ लगे हैं और क्यों आप उसको फिर compare कर रहे हैं situation in Delhi को?
Well, Pooja, it is very simple that Mr. Arvind Kejriwal, if you remember, in his whole luxurious 40 crore sheesh mahal, and the details were out, had all the luxury items from a toilet seat to an air purifier to other things. The larger is about the principle. Here, Arvind Kejriwal promised the people of Delhi 10 years back that he would clean Yamuna. Mr. Kejriwal promised that if he gets the government in Punjab, he will ensure that the pollution levels in Delhi dip to a record low. Now, he has a government in Punjab and he has a government in Delhi. Now, it is not for the first time that he is governing. But despite that, if the pollution level is in the AQI is in an extremely poor scenario, the buck stops with Mr. Arvind Kejriwal. Rather than blaming Uttar Pradesh, rather than blaming Haryana, he needs to start governing because it is not just mere politics. It is about the future generation of Delhi. What will the school-going children do who have now, doctors are reporting that there are problems of respiratory problems that they are occurring. So I would appeal to Mr. Kejriwal that yes, he has the luxury to be in an apartment and be in a big bungalow, which naturally because he's the past chief minister of Delhi. But what about a common man in Delhi? They will not have the luxury of installing air purifiers in their home. So that is the comparison. Because all his promises have failed till now, whether it is Yamuna or pollution.
Also, Pradeep, tell me this. What do you think is the failure of the government? Because you know that in Delhi, they'll say that the LG doesn't clear files, LG doesn't approve, and therefore the reason is that there's this lack of effort possibly on the ground.
Well, the buck stops with Mr. Arvind Kejriwal. It is threefold. A, look at his statements in the past. Earlier, he used to say that the pollution problem in Delhi is not localized. It is to do with the government in Punjab. Now, even India Today has reported that the stubble burning in Punjab is 65% of the total stubble burning level. When Mr. Mann was asked the question, he said it is just not about Punjab. So, despite having two governments in the NCR, if Mr. Arvind Kejriwal is not able to control pollution, then the question will be on his intent. And point number two, are we knowing that the pollution in Delhi will be at a record level, record danger level right now? Absolutely not. We know this since the start of the year. So what did Mr. Kejriwal do since the start of the year? Half of the smog towers are not working. Towards the last, when you see the pollution level dipping to a record peak, so you start with these ad hoc measures of, asking people to switch off their vehicles at the traffic light. This is not how governance happens.
Okay, appreciate you joining us, Pradeep. Thank you very much. Eventually, the question is, why wasn't measures taken earlier as well? And why should the people of Delhi, NCR and the cities really suffer what may be happening perhaps likely in other states over stubble burning?